Hello everybody, Jolt here from the Token Minorities, and I'm bringing you a new series that we want to be doing here on the channel. It'll be where I do some co-narrations with some fellow YouTubers slash friends of mine. So yeah, for today we'll be starting off with a series of battles against my friend Cheeseboy628. He's a really cool YouTuber. He has about 1,000 subscribers, probably a little more than that at this point. But yeah, you should definitely check out his channel, and I'll let him talk about it a little bit. Go ahead.
Yo, hey guys. So, yeah, as you can see just by this team here, it's actually my recent upload, as of now at least, where I have a PS Live that has a good few battles as to, you can demonstrate what's going on. I'd say I have a pretty decent knowledge of the Pokemon metagame, I guess you could say. I have experience for the past couple of years, and yeah, still running, and it would be awesome if you guys came over.
Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into the battles. So basically what we have here today, one of the battles is from a tournament that my Pokemon clan put on. It's a bunch of really good battlers, and Cheeseboy and I both advanced into the bracket stages after doing well in the pool stages of that tournament. So this is actually the quarterfinal, I believe, of that tournament. My user is f.e.a.r. I'm on the opposing side here, and Cheeseboy628 is on the near side. So before we jump into the battle, we'll give a brief team preview as to our original thoughts before the battle began. As for my side, I immediately saw that my Mega Scizor, which is defensive with Swords Dance, is going to be a huge win condition in this game, as it is able to take hits from physical T-Tar, from really any Azumarill. Medicham is really my best switch into Medicham. Excadrill is just setup fodder in general. And of course Sylveon's not able to do too much if it's not running HP Fire. So I saw that Mega Scizor is a very good win condition for me, and I also saw that his team really doesn't appreciate the Volt Turn Core in Rotom and Landorus T. But go ahead, and what were you thinking at the beginning of this battle?
Okay, cool. So, my team, as I like to call it, is called Too Many Physicals. As you may be able to tell, 4.5 of my Mons are basically composed of physical-based stuff. The only specially related things are Sylveon and half of T-Tar, as it is mixed. So I definitely realized as well that Mega Scizor is going to be a huge issue. And my Mega Medicham, what a surprise, both of our Megas are going to be quite threats in this
Yes,
game.
Definitely.
So, yeah, looking at his team, I know he has a couple of options of what he's going to start out with, being mostly his Rotom or his Lando, in which case, as of now at least, I don't remember what I started out with this battle, but I usually will go with Azumarill. That way I'm able to take anything, go for a nice free knockoff. But in regards to handling his Mega Scizor, that's really the only thing I'm afraid of. He doesn't have a Ghost, so he's not going to absorb any high jump kicks, and Mega Scizor doesn't appreciate it. But if Mega Scizor does get to +2, I can't just freely bring in Mega Medicham, as I'm pretty sure that I'm going to go down, and that would just be extremely unfortunate. So in that case, f.e.a.r would just have to stall out.
Okay, so in my case, I am pretty confident that I will lead with either Landorus T or Rotom Wash, as those are really my go-to leads against pretty much any team, as they are so versatile. But let's go ahead and jump right into the battle.
Sweet.
Alright, so Cheeseboy leads off with his Ferrothorn, which is A-okay. I do lead off with my Landorus T, which is fine. I get off the Intimidate, and I don't want to risk the Rocky Helmet just because the Scarf Landorus T wants all the health it can get, especially when he has the Mega Medicham chilling back in the back. So I just switch right into my Heatran as he sets up his rocks.
Yeah, exactly. So, as you can tell, that I started with my Ferrothorn. That's probably my next best bet, because then I can absorb Rotom Wash's hits, easily get a lot of damage on a U-turn from Lando, get my rocks for free, and then it'll put some pressure on his Latios later. And so I do have a Azumarill here, and it's going to do pretty well against most of his team. It is Assault Vest. It's going to be taking a good amount of hits, but as you can tell, I go for the knockoff, and that Scizor is not exactly losing its items, so I know this is the big threat right now.
Yeah, definitely. I predicted the knockoff coming in, and Scizor is obviously my best switch into Azumarill, even if it is a Belly Drum set, as I could find a way to get back into Rotom on the Waterfall. But I decided not to go all in and set up here, just because I would like to weaken the Ferrothorn a little more. As it would take +6 to be able to knock out the Ferrothorn with a Bug Bite. So yeah, I go ahead and switch out into my Rotom, I believe, there, and I wanted to threaten the Will-O-Wisp, and kind of hoped he would switch into something like Sylveon, but he decided to stay in. and absorb the Volt Switch, which is fine. I just go right back into Heatran here, and he unfortunately goes for that knockoff. So that made me a little bit sad, as Heatran was going to be my best answer to the Sylveon. At that point, I believe I wasn't sure if it was support or specs. I've seen a lot of spec Sylveons lately, you know? It's definitely catching on. Oh.
Yeah, that, oh my gosh.
This was huge.
I mentioned this in my PS Live too, that like lava plumes and scalds have like 30% chance to burn. And you know, those do like an average chance of burning, but 10% anything has been like the biggest downfall of my little Pokemon career here. It's pretty unfortunate. Here I went for the Ice Beam, really hoping he brought in his Lando, because I have just enough EVs, like specifically to take out offensive Lando, or even max HP Lando, I think, after Rocks with Ice Beam.
Wow. Well, I was very happy to get that burn, but I guess it was kind of okay considering you were a mixed Tyranitar. If you were purely physical, that would have been really, really, really bad. But here I just go for the Wisp, predicting the switch, as a burn Tyranitar is not going to do anything at all to a Rotom. And I do hit the Sylveon with that, which is fine, but likely he has a Cleric, especially after seeing Leftovers, so really that won't matter too much. He'll just be able to get rid of that burn here on this turn as I go into my Heatran, which actually does carry Flash Cannon, so it is an immediate threat to the Sylveon, especially because the Sylveon can't really do anything to me back.
Exactly, yeah. I knew since he had Fire Blast, he had somewhat of a more offensive presence, so the fact that it does have Flash Cannon it definitely makes sense, but the fact that it's only doing 40% means that Sylveon will be able to stall out a little bit, and Sylveon is just a staple to this team. As you can tell, a lot of my pokes are physical based, and so Sylveon just holds this team together with special walling, being a Cleric, Wish Passing. It's necessary for this team. But yeah, it does give him a free switch into his Mega Caesar. And basically, I have to think, what am I going to go into that's best going to handle this Caesar? If he goes for Swords Dance, I can't bring in Mega Medicham because then I'm going to be going down to a BP. And so stalling out a little bit with Pharaoh is really just going to be my best bet, because Leech Seed is that little special property where no matter what you do, it's going to stay on you. So yeah, so it's basically just Ferrothorn trying to survive, trying to get it low enough to where I can feel comfortable going into another Mon, in this case being Excadrill, because it's the only thing that's offensive and can absorb a Bullet Punch relatively well, but he is at +6, so that's obviously really scary. So basically, when I will stall out until the point where he feels pretty comfortable going for Roost, and then I can bring in Excadrill. The thing is, like, even though I max attack Adamant Life Orb, Mega Caesar is a monster and will absorb those EQs like no other. Like, it could potentially Life Orb stall me if I didn't have this Leech Seed on. So it's absolutely crucial, and you'll see in just a second when I bring it in why this Leech Seed is just perfect.
Yeah, especially with this Mega Scizor being max defense and basically max HP at 248. It is a very, very good counter to Excadrill. Even though it doesn't have a super effective move against it, it is able to Life Orb stall and eventually KO with a Bullet Punch, barring any unfortunate critical hits. But here I am just going to start going for the Bug Bite. Every time I get to the maximum possible HP after his Protect Leech Seed shenanigans, I am just going to go for the Bug Bite. And I actually get nearly a min roll here, which was really unfortunate because it did make me lose a little more health than I wanted to. I think in the end it really didn't matter too much though, especially because he had the Leech Seed on me, and Excadrill was going to be able to finish me off on the following turn or the turn following the following turn. But yeah, here I just go for that Roost, and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is where I found the golden opportunity to bring in Excadrill. Obviously, he's really low. He got to the point where he was going to Bug Bite in order to try taking out my Pharaoh. So basically, I knew he had that pattern of Roost stalling to the point of I knew when to protect, I knew when to go for knockoff just to get damage. But here's what's so great. I can keep going for EQs and get some Life Orb damage on me, but then next turn he's going to try Roost stalling, but then I'll be back to full health and then he loses damage. And it's just, it's really not helping out either of us at that point. It's kind of just a stalemate.
Pretty much.
But yeah, at this point, I have to bring in Mega Medicham. I have to go for Fake Out. I don't care how obvious it is to switch out. Like, he can go to Latios eventually, I guess, in Defog, but if I don't take him out with Mega Medicham, it's definitely over. So
Yeah.
that's what I had to make sure of there.
Yeah, and I knew the fake out was very, very obvious, so I decided it was a safe opportunity to go straight into my Lander's T. And here I realized that he really doesn't have any Earthquake switch-ins, so I am able to actually just go for the U-turn here, but I could have just gone for an Earthquake as well, considering really his entire team takes a lot of damage from that. So that was a good play on your part, though, going into the Ferrothorn there. Did you expect the U-turn, or were you just sacking?
For the most part, I think I was just sacking because at this point, yeah, not a lot of my team can take anything EQ. Ferrothorn is definitely the one to go into, and in the case that you did go for U-turn, it was extremely beneficial, as that way you do get all that crucial damage, and maybe Fake Out plus Bullet Punch or even an Aqua Jet will be able to take you out after rocks.
Yeah. I think, now that I remember, I think the reasoning behind me going for U-turn was the fact that I didn't want to potentially give Azumarill a chance to set up on me if it was a Belly Drum Azumarill. So that probably is why I decided to try to U-turn out instead. But here you go ahead and knock off my Sylveon, which is a little unfortunate, but at this point I don't think it makes too much of a difference, especially because I'm just going to stay in there and try to start pummeling it with Hyper Voice, Whisper Protect combinations. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, I mean, he knows that I'm a Assault Vest, judging by how I took this Hyper Voice.
Yeah.
And so it is in my benefit right now, though, because he doesn't have leftovers going for him. And so that way a Play Rough will be able to take him out from this range. If I missed there, that would have been extremely unfortunate. But,
yes,
we're good there. So I'm able to be living here, and I can live one more Stealth Rock switch in. It's just about if it's really worth it. In this case it is, as I do have Sylveon to kind of just come in, absorb any hits. And the reason I think this is perfect is because at this point he can't bring in Mega Caesar, obviously, or just dies to rocks. If he brings in Latios to defog, I can go for a Hyper Voice, take him out. And if he goes to Lando, I can protect to kind of scout a little bit, even though EQ is really obvious at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, this situation with Latios, I see he defogs, it's totally fine, it's understandable. That way you can bring in Mega Caesar, and that's when I knew, oh shoot, I could be in a little bit of predicament if he gets off a Roost, because obviously I don't have Leech Seed, and if he sets up at all, I'm definitely going to be in a little bit of a pickle.
Yeah, definitely. I was hoping you would switch into Tyranitar on that defog, obviously, predicting the Psyshock, but unfortunately you make the correct play and just go straight for the Hyper Voice. So here I just go straight into my Heatran, as it is my best switch into Sylveon, even though it's not going to be able to beat it 1v1 without his leftovers. But I do just go for the Flash Cannon on that turn as he goes into Tyranitar. Please explain what your thought process was on that.
Let's see. So I just had Sylveon in. I just felt, let's see, that the HP Sylveon's at this point, 76.1. Okay, I just felt with, if I get a Spadef drop, first off, that's going to be putting a lot of pressure on it, and something's probably going to have to die anyway. I think I just needed a free switch.
Okay.
And at this point, I mean, Mega Medicham kind of wreaks havoc a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of getting a free switch into that, and just trying to hit up whatever's left at this point, because everything dies to it. It's just Lando is going to be my one problem to prevent my victory at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I knew that Lander's T was my key member of my team at this point, so I do just bring it in here and go for that Earthquake, knowing that the Bullet Punch will not be able to KO me if he does have it. I don't think he had revealed it at that point. But Landers is just going to get a free kill here, and it is on the Sylveon, which actually kind of frees me up a little bit more than Cheeseboy would have wanted. So now he's just going to go straight into a Azumarill to try to threaten me with that Aqua Jet, but obviously I'm not going to let that happen, so I'm just going to, I believe, sack. I'm not going to sack. Yeah, I'm going to sack Heatran here, because without Sylveon around, I really don't need Heatran. So it eats up that Play Rough actually pretty well. I assume you were, what, predicting the Rotom there?
Yeah, I was just predicting Rotom, because that way, if I did, yeah, because Rotom's at 45, I knew Aqua Jet would have been able to take Heatran out after you brought it in from Play Rough, but the fact that if I went for a Waterfall, just for damage against the Rotom Wash, I feel like there's a chance it probably would have been able to absorb the Aqua Jet to a point that you could Willow or Volt Switch and just completely cripple my Azumarill at that point. And obviously it's dead now, but it's for the sake of Death Fodder, which was pretty crucial.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense. So here I am just going to switch Latios out directly into Rotom Wash, as all I really need to do to defeat this Mega Medicham is get off an Intimidate and then have Landorus in there freely to KO with the Earthquake. So I'm just going to let Rotom take the damage there and then die to the Psyshock. And here I'll switch into my Landorus T to get off that Intimidate.
Yeah, let's pause at this point because there's a lot of stuff going through our heads right now at this point. So here's the thing. My set is Fake Out, Bullet Punch, Psycho Cut, and High Jump Kick. So obviously I have two forms of priority here, but obviously Fake Out can't be used at this point. And it's my last Mon. So what I'm thinking here is if I do have that little bit of chance of surviving an EQ, I can go for a Psycho Cut, take him out, easily take out the Latios, which is at 4% with a Bullet Punch. But what I wasn't expecting exactly was what does happen. So let's continue here for a second. Right. So what actually happens is Lando does go for the U-turn, and when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, that was definitely the ideal play. Definitely. What I was thinking was, you know, if he goes for EQ, tries to take me out there, cool, and he doesn't know if I have Bullet Punch yet, so that would have been the best scenario in that case, I guess. But yeah, here I finally reveal the Bullet Punch, obviously, because I'm going to die to an EQ unless I crit. I don't think there's a single chance of me being able to take him out, but this does put up the question of, what if I went for Bullet Punch the turn before? I mean, percents would have been really close at this point. I actually did
calculate that, and you would have had to have a critical hit to take me out.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a lot of. I think that was the point when I was taking forever to make my move because I was counting everything. But yeah, that was a really, really tight 1-0 victory for me. But yeah, really well played on your part for sure. Just kind of came down to those last couple turns.
Yeah, it was just a good battle in general for sure.
Definitely. So this battle actually advanced me into the semifinals of the f.e.a.r tournament, which is a battle I also won. I probably won't upload that battle because it wasn't quite as close. But yeah, it was a fun match. So I'll be in the finals against my friend Hallucination shortly, and hopefully that battle will be good enough to upload as well. So let's go ahead and move over to the second battle.
Sweet.
Yeah. So this match is a little bit different. It is standard OU match. It was actually for our new GBA league that Cheeseboy and I joined recently, called the NPL, or the National Pokeball League. We were both considered expansion teams, so we had to compete in a round-robin tournament against the other expansion teams in order to determine our ranking in the draft as to when we would be able to draft the Pokemon that we want. So this was our battle for this. We both brought different teams than last time since we had just had this other battle so recently. So yeah, you can go ahead and give your side of the team preview first.
Okay, cool. So this is definitely one of my more favorite OU teams that I've made. That other one that we just saw, like, for some reason it works, but honestly I didn't put in as much thought process as I did in this one. So what's going on is, of course, it's based on Mega Metagross, and so shout out to my roommate for playing country music while I'm recording. Solid. So anyway, he's bad. Anyway, so shut up, I'm trying to be professional.
Anyways.
Okay, so looking at my opponent's team, obviously Mega Gyarados seems to be pretty likely, and but it also could be Mega T-Tart, or, you know, maybe not Mega at all, but chances are it's one of those two. So the biggest situation, I think, against him is probably going to be Mega Gyarados and the way he plays it, because depending on how I'm able to handle that in regards to him getting off Intimidates and whatnot is definitely going to be a situation when he uses Dragon Dance and whatnot. So there's one thing that I did switch on this team that he's seen this team before, but I switched it from Banded D-Knight to Dragon Dance Life Orb D-Knight, and it's not super crucial in this game because of my move pool, but it's crucial in the sense that he didn't necessarily think of how that would necessarily factor in and just be like, oh, Banded Outrage is about to hit me real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so looking at, I think my defensive core is also a good factor to note here, of how I have physically defensive Lando T and physically defensive Blastoise, and then Assault Vest Conk is what I use to, like, take up special hits. His Lando is definitely going to be a bit of a threat. Did I say specially defensive? I meant Life Orb Lando, if I totally messed up words here. Okay, yeah, my roommate just decides to ruin me. Anyway, so
I'll ruin you.
Okay, but yeah, that's my spiel.
Okay, on my side, I did notice that Mega Gyarados was going to potentially be very good against his team, especially if I was able to get up a Dragon Dance or two. The only forms of priority are, of course, the Mach Punch from Conkeldurr and then the likely Extreme Speed from the Dragonite. And I also realized that Blastoise was going to be his best wall to the Mega Gyarados, so I figured that would be the best recipient of Gothitel's Thunderbolt. So I was going to try to trap the Blastoise to make my setup job a little bit easier, especially considering that Blastoise could indeed run Roar, which would definitely hinder my setup process. I also realized that Lander's Eye was going to be very good, as Cheeseboy was saying, as his best switch-ins are the Conkeldurr and the Dragonite, assuming Dragonite still has multi-scale. I am actually a Calm Mind Lander's Eye. This team was actually designed specifically to counter Stall. I have a lot of friends that like to play Stall, so I like to whip this team out on them every now and then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very offensive team with Sylveon support and Gothitelle trapping support as well. As for his threats, I do see Mega Metagross as being an enormous threat, especially because I prefer if Gyarados did not take any unnecessary damage. And unfortunately, Gyarados is my best switch in to the Mega Metagross. So let's go ahead and jump into the battle, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, so I guess he realized that Mega Metagross had a very good matchup against my team. And luckily I led off with my Landorus Eye, knowing that, again, it has a very good matchup against most of his mons. I almost clicked Psychic on this first turn, but I decided to go for the safe Earth Power, just in case he wanted to sacrifice his Metagross on turn 1. That would have made my job a whole lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. I knew one of the biggest parts of this game was going to be who gets the most beneficial first turn, like who gets the first best matchup, and obviously he won that. It's just the fact that thankfully I won the 50-50 in regards to what he was actually going to do the next turn. But yeah, something special on my little Gengar here, as he has his T-Tar, is the fact that I do have indeed the Destiny Bond, and that was just so if I did miss the Focus Blast, that would have been really unfortunate, but that way I'm able to take him out with me, and I mean, it's 5-5, so it's as even as it can get at this point.
I think we were both pretty happy with that turn, to be honest, because I wasn't too thrilled to see a Gengar on your side of the field, especially considering my only real switch into that is Tyranitar. So I did just go for that pursuit anyway, knowing that I would die to the Destiny Bond. But here I am able to trap the Blastoise with my Gothitelle. Which is very nice because that might give me a soon opening to set up with my Mega Gyarados. But he does get that burn with the Scald, which kind of sucks, but again, it really doesn't matter. This is just trapping the Blastoise and trying to get rid of him. If I go down in the process, that is A-okay with me.
Yeah. So what he is able to do here, though, is limit me to one physical wall, which is good, and it's that only thing that Lando T is going to be doing is probably holding off the Excadrill, because Lando is going to do a nice chunk to me. Gyarados is obviously going to have a good benefit. And yeah, basically my situation right now is I need to find a moment where I can get Mega Metagross to be able to Mega Evolve real quick and try to just do as much damage as possible. The sand is gone, so one of the potential threats to my Mega Metagross Sand Rush Excadrill is now no longer a threat. Gyarados is definitely my biggest predicament.
So I do just go for the Psychic on that following turn, as it was my best move against the Landorus T. He just goes straight into Conkeldurr, which is fine. Its job is to absorb those special hits anyways. He did get off that Mach Punch, which does a stunning 14% damage to the Landers. So that's cool, I guess. Here he just goes into Dragonite, and here's where I really wish I had HB Ice, because that would have definitely come in handy. Were you Lumberry or Weakness Policy?
Oh, I'm Life Orb. That's what I was saying in the beginning. Yeah,
right.
Because, you know, most people... Let's pause about this just for a second. I'm sure I'll rant about this in a real video someday. But just the fact that, you know, you don't think Life Orb makes sense on a Dragonite. But then you think about it to the next level of, I wait until I get hit, then I start releasing as much damage as I can with it. And then that's basically the purpose of this. I get the Dragon Dance off, you ruin my multi-scale, and therefore now I'm able to wreak havoc with this ridiculous Life Orb boosted +1 hit that Dragonite's going to be dealing. And so since I'm max attack adamant, it's going to be doing quite the bit, and so now he's going to be in the predicament of what am I?
Best snack I've ever had.
Cool, Jack. And so now I'm basically free to go. Something's going to die. That's basically what's happening now. So let's
Several
continue.
things are going to die. Okay, we'll go ahead and continue here. He does just take out the Landorus with the Dragon Claw, which is expected. It's a little unfortunate considering Landorus was going to be nice against his Metagross, but I had to sack at that point. I really didn't have an option. Here he gets a crit, and I'm going to pause here for a second. I thought that this crit really, really mattered. I did run a calc in the end, or not in the end, but right before that turn. And if I had lived that Earthquake, which my Sylveon spread, which does have a little bit of defensive investment and, of course, nearly max HP, if I would have lived that Earthquake, could have taken out the Dragonite right here, which would have given him the chance to go into his Metagross, of course, but then I have the Excadrill in the back, and if he doesn't have Earthquake, I actually would be able to beat that 1v1 with the Excadrill, so that I feel like that did matter a lot. It definitely would have changed the plays in the end, of course, based upon what we had left, but that was a pretty big crit. But anyway, we'll go ahead and continue here.
Yeah. So what's going on here is I didn't even realize that, like, you know, everyone has a different set for Mega Metagross in regards to how much speed they're investing versus bulk. So the fact that I just outsped him there, since I am Jolly, does make sense since he's probably adamant, and I guess it's just speed tiers, man. And that kind of that's kind of what seals the game there. But if he did outspeed me, you know, I'm not sure how much Crunch would have done, you know, that's why you have to run Bite, you gotta flinch me real quick. But, so, yeah, Iki's able to take out the rest of his mons there. That Sylveon thing was, I feel that was probably the big game changer there, because otherwise I would have brought in Mega Metagross a turn early, he would have gotten an Intimidate on me, and then things probably would have changed a little bit from there. But yeah.
I do think in the end you had the battle wrapped up just because of the matchups, but the crit on Sylveon kind of took away the, I don't know, it took away the closeness of the battle. But yeah, that was the end of the match, and Cheeseboy did pull out the win there, got his revenge after our first game. So he did win that battle in the round robin, and we both ended up with pretty good draft picks after that round robin. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, any final words you have for the people?
I just want to say thanks for watching, guys, because it's been a pleasure with my buddy Jolt here.
Alright, well, it's been a pleasure having you. We'll definitely do more of this in the future with some more YouTubers and hopefully Cheeseboy again. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye!
Peace.